As you know, we're now in the moment of diplomacy seeking to explore whether there's a way to de-escalate the crisis, what Winston Churchill generations ago called jaw jaw, not war war. Today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is talking by phone to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Lavrov said after receiving the U.S. written response to Russian demands that he saw a kernel of rationality, was the phrase that Lavrov used. I'm curious what you think is going on in this diplomatic moment and whether you think there's any real possibility of a diplomatic settlement that would be acceptable.
Well, I think the allies are doing a great job in keeping Russia at the table. It's not negotiations, but rather a dialogue with Russia. But again, it's nothing that NATO or the West can really offer to Russia to de-escalate, because NATO hasn't created the situation. NATO hasn't or is not planning to attack anybody. So it's up to Russia to decide. Of course, the question is what brings them out of the corner where they are currently. So what are the elements that they could say that, okay, this is now off the table, but it's up to them to decide. I think the West should not fall into this trap that we are offering them something that they didn't have before, because of course Russia is making all these outrageous demands, making demands regarding NATO's alliance, NATO's allies who can be members of NATO, and not saying that NATO should go back to its 97 borders, which means that half of the NATO members should not be NATO members. It's not up to Russia to say, but also, claiming that there should be a limitation regarding military exercises close to NATO's borders. I'm just reminding everybody that NATO is a defense alliance. NATO is not planning to attack anybody. If we agree with Russia on, limitation of military exercises, it means that we can't have military exercises on our soil, but it is detrimental to our defense posture. Here being geographically very close to Russia and being geographically as a peninsula when it comes to NATO.